Bill Walsh drove a Porsche. Well, he owned a Porsche, I should say, since I was the one who drove it. I was 25 in 1984 when I left a recruiting coordinator position at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas to join Walsh's staff with the San Francisco 49ers. The best part of my new job as a scout was to drive Walsh wherever he needed to go. As with most things in Walsh's world, there was no set pattern or agenda. Some days I just dropped him at home. Other days I took him to the airport or to a speaking engagement across the state. For me, the longer the ride, the better. I could hardly believe my incredible good fortune. The assignment, considered by most to be grunt work suitable for only the youngest members of a staff, was nothing less than the beginning of my formal education in the game of professional football. What could be better? Me behind the wheel of a slick sports car as I listened to the running commentary of Bill Walsh, commentary on world events, or Villanova's NC2A tournament upset of Georgetown, or military history, or, his favorite subject above all others, the blueprint he was building for an advanced, all-encompassing philosophy that would transform the 49ers into the envy of and model for every other organization in sports. By the time I arrived, Walsh was well on his way to genius status. As a longtime assistant coach in Cincinnati under the legendary Paul Brown, Walsh first changed the course of NFL history with his invention of the West Coast offense. His intricate evolution of the passing game was built around precise timing and movement. It attacked the defense by stretching the field horizontally with short passes that served almost like handoffs, getting the ball to playmakers just as they reached top speed in open spaces. After a falling out with Brown, Walsh left the Bengals in 1975 and, after a brief stop in San Diego, spent 2 years as the head coach at Stanford, where he led the football team to back-to-back bowl game wins. Since he was comfortable in the school's academic environment, the last place anyone ever expected Walsh to jump to next was the 49ers. Most football fans today think of San Francisco as the NFL's dynasty of the 1980s, but few remember that before Walsh showed up in 1979, the team was widely regarded as the worst in the league and quite possibly the most dysfunctional franchise in all of pro sports. The previous general manager, Joe Thomas, had gutted the organization from top to bottom. Thomas fired 3 head coaches in less than 12 months, including one, East Coast native Pete McCauley, who insisted that everything run on his time. That meant the usual 7 a.m. team meetings began at 4 a.m. Thomas also cut talented players such as Jim Plunkett, who went on to win 2 Super Bowls with the Oakland Raiders. Worst of all, Thomas had traded away 5 of the 49ers' top picks in upcoming drafts for a washed-up, wobbly-kneed O.J. Simpson. The game day losses were so definitive and the weekday atmosphere so poisonous during a 2-14 season in 1978 that a disgusted 49ers assistant left the sideline on one embarrassing Sunday to sit with his wife in the stands. In short, Walsh took over a team with no high draft picks, no quarterback, and no hope. 3 years later, that team won the Super Bowl. It got there by following Walsh's formula for what he called a standard of performance, an exacting plan for constructing and maintaining the culture and organizational DNA behind the perfect football franchise. Let's face it, the word perfect and the very idea of building the perfect organization are either cliches or fantasies to most coaches. Not to Walsh. Perfection drove him endlessly, and sometimes to those around him, maddeningly. His obsession with perfection meant he constantly pushed his people, regardless of experience or position in the organization, to learn more. He was naturally curious, always searching for ways to fix his team or just better accomplish the simple task, and he demanded the same thing of his staff. He never wanted us to follow familiar paths to knowledge. He was trying to build a lasting, self-perpetuating culture to counter the groupthink that was then pervasive in the NFL and still is today. Walsh, in other words, was trying to disrupt football long before anyone thought to use that term in business, let alone sports.